If I lost everything today and had to start investing again from $0, what would I do? No portfolio, no investments, no head start. Just starting from the very beginning. It's an interesting question because many people feel like they are already too late. They think, I should have started years ago, or I don't have enough money to invest. But the truth is, every successful investor started somewhere, and most of them started small. So in this video, I'm going to walk through exactly what I would do if I had to start over from scratch. No complicated strategies, no unrealistic assumptions, just a simple plan for building wealth from zero. We'll cover the first mindset shift I would focus on, the investing strategy I would use, the types of investments I would consider, and the habits that matter most over time. If you're just starting your investing journey, this might be one of the most useful frameworks you can follow. Let's get into it. If I had to start from zero, the first thing I would focus on actually isn't investing. It's building a financial foundation. Because investing works best when your finances are stable. That means having a basic system for managing money, tracking income, understanding spending, and making sure you're not constantly relying on debt to get through the month. Why does this matter? Because investing should be long term. If you're constantly forced to sell investments to cover expenses, the strategy breaks down. So before worrying about investments, I would focus on building a stable financial base. The next thing I would focus on is building a saving habit. Not a huge amount, just a consistent habit. Many people believe wealth comes from big financial decisions, but in reality, wealth is often built through small, repeated actions. Saving a little money regularly may not feel dramatic, but over time, it creates a momentum. If I was starting from zero, my goal would be simple. Set aside a small amount every week. The exact number doesn't matter as much as the habit, because once the habit exists, increasing the amount becomes easier. One of the biggest barriers to investing is the belief that you need a lot of money. But this simply isn't true. If I was starting over, I would be perfectly comfortable starting with small amounts, even something like $50 per week. What matters most isn't the starting amount, it's consistency over time. Because small investments can grow significantly when they are made regularly over long periods. This is where many beginners underestimate the power of time. If I had to start over from scratch, I would keep my investing strategy extremely simple. There are thousands of possible investments, thousands of strategies, and endless opinions. But complexity often leads to confusion, and confusion often leads to inaction. So instead of chasing complicated strategies, I would focus on a simple, repeatable approach. One that doesn't require constant decisions, one that removes emotion, and one that can be followed for many years. Another key idea I would focus on is diversification. Diversification means spreading your investments across many different companies instead of relying on just a few. When investors concentrate too heavily in one company, their outcome becomes tied to that single business. If the company struggles, their entire investment may suffer. Diversification reduces that risk. By spreading investments across many companies, you avoid relying on any single outcome. This approach can create a more balanced long-term strategy. If I was starting from zero, I would immediately adopt a long-term mindset. Not months, not even a few years, but decades. Because the stock market can move unpredictably in the short term. Prices rise, prices fall. News events create volatility, but historically, over long periods of time, markets have tended to grow. The investors who benefit most from this growth are usually the ones who remain invested for the longest time. Another thing I would avoid if starting over is constant market noise. Financial news, daily predictions, short-term market commentary. These things can make investing feel more complicated than it really is. But most of this information focuses on short-term movements. Long-term investors often benefit more from focusing on the big picture. Instead of reacting to every headline, I would stay focused on the long-term plan. This approach removes the pressure of trying to predict the perfect moment to invest. When markets rise, I keep investing. When markets fall, I keep investing. Over time, this consistency averages out market fluctuations, and it keeps emotions from taking control. Starting from zero would also mean avoiding some of the most common investing mistakes. Chasing hype investments, trying to get rich quickly, constantly switching strategies, trying to perfectly time the market. These behaviors often lead to frustration and sometimes significant losses. Instead, I would focus on patience, because investing success often comes from discipline rather than excitement. Another advantage of starting small is that your contributions can grow over time. As income increases, the amount invested can increase as well. What begins as a small weekly contribution can gradually become larger, and over long periods, these increases can significantly accelerate wealth building. This is why many investors view investing as a lifetime habit rather than a one-time decision. If I had to start again from zero, the most important thing I would protect is time, because time allows investments to compound. It allows temporary market drops to recover, and it allows small contributions to grow into larger amounts. Every year invested matters. Every decade matters even more, which is why the most powerful decision is often simply getting started. If I had to start again from zero, the most important thing I would protect is time, because time allows investments to compound. It allows temporary market drops to recover, and it allows small contributions to grow into larger amounts. Every year invested matters. Every decade matters even more, which is why the most powerful decision is often simply getting started. If I had to start investing again from zero, my approach would be surprisingly simple. Build a stable financial foundation, develop a habit of saving, invest small amounts consistently, stay diversified, and think long term. It may not sound exciting, but many successful investing strategies are built on exactly these principles. Because investing isn't about getting rich overnight, it's about building wealth gradually over time. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing. On this channel, we break down simple investing ideas designed to help beginners understand money and build long-term wealth. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.